Yo, this your boy PCP, and today I got a good one for you guys. I got an awesome one. You know what I mean? I have TK the Kid, also TK Speaks on Instagram, right? But I just gave her a new nickname. I call her TK the Legend because what she does is legendary. She throws events. She get a bunch of creative vendors, a bunch of creative poets, a bunch of creative talents, right, for one cause, and that's peace and positivity. So it's an honor for me to have her on my show. She's actually the first person that let me pull up and be a vendor at one of her events, and I hope and pray we do more business in the future.
Looking
So
forward to it.
yeah, so let me introduce you guys to TK the Legend.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, champ?
No, what's up with you, TK?
Ain't nothing, man. Glad to be here.
No,
Humbled to, even be asked to come out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like stuff like this is important. Us being able to connect, that going back to what you said about peace and positivity, you know what I'm saying? Like the goal is that we connect and we connect some more, right?
Big
Building
facts.
collaborations and community. So glad to
Big
be
facts.
here.
No, I appreciate you coming out, TK. And Saturday, the event on Saturday was awesome, man. That was my first event, and it was awesome to see you work. Like you a real life boss. You know what I mean? Like
Thank you.
when I pulled up, I had my homie with me. She was my helper, and I forgot to tell TK, and I was like, yo, TK, this my helper, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll pay you if I got to. TK say, nah, shorty, you good. Just let me know next time. For sure.
Just what's important to me, you know what I mean? Like, especially in all business, you gotta account for everybody in the room.
Yeah.
And I make sure I do that with the vendors, the artists, the staff, any, help, the vendors, whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to know how many touch points you have when you're doing an event like this.
Nah, that's big fact.
And so I like to make sure I count it out no matter who it is. So I can say, when the event is over with, especially because I like to talk to the artists and give them a rundown, especially artists that never been in the show.
Big fact.
You know what I'm saying? So with each show, I want to be able to say, we had 160 people at the last show, or whatever it is. But you got to count every person that experiences it, no matter in what capacity, should be counted as a touch point because that's a life potentially changed. And we should be, quantifying that so that we know the impact that we have on the community. So that's why I just like to know, whoever in the building, we got to account for it.
Nah, that's a big man. That was beautiful, man. So, hey, first question, TK. You know what I'm saying? I got some questions for you, man, because
let's get into them.
I want to know who you are, and I want to know what made you become a boss, and what made you become TK the Legend.
So I don't know about to ask you how I became TK the Legend.
Oh,
that day.
All right. So let me ask first question.
Okay, let's get into it.
When did you first realize you were different, and how did that moment shape who you are today?
Oh man. When did I realize I was different? That's kind of hard to answer because I think realization is a journey of sorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, hindsight being 2020, you can look back on things that have happened in your life and have aha moments like, oh, okay, that was that. You know what I'm saying? But I could go back to, it's crazy to even tell this story. So apologies, aunties and uncles or whatever. But when I was 5, like my uncles, like they had little friends or whatever. And these people would literally come to my grandma's house over there on Hume Avenue in Alexandria. And my uncle, he had this back room all the way upstairs. And I would sit in this room and these ladies would literally be telling me their life stories. Like I'm 5. I don't even understand this. You know what I'm saying? But we'd be sitting up in there. My mom would say I would, lay hands on them and pray for them. But I would literally just be, I can't even tell you what they would tell me, but I remember the experience.
Yeah.
And that's literally always been my life almost. Like people be like, man, I don't know why I just told you that. But just something just made me tell you that. You know what I'm saying? So if I went back to my childhood, I know that I've had experiences in my life that have were definitive for today.
Mm-hmm.
Now I didn't realize that at 5, so that's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm saying, like, me looking back, I can see kind of the trajectory, and the way God was probably molding and making me over the course
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
But as far as like speaking and getting out and doing what I do now, honestly, I've been writing since I was a kid.
Wow.
But I would never actually perform the pieces. Like I would write stuff for church, I would write stuff
Mm-hmm.
for school, um, and I would just hand it over and be like, hey, as long as y'all can find somebody that's gonna recite it, you
Mm-hmm.
good. But
Yeah.
I never wanted to actually speak the words because to me, I felt like the words were more infinite if my voice wasn't attached. You know how you hear a song, people want to sing the song the way they heard it because that's the way they know it to be. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want my poetry to sound like, I wanted everybody to hear their own voice
Yeah.
in my poetry. So I felt like if I like extracted myself from it, it would allow for people to really connect to what it was. But
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until it was 2016 December. My cousin, shout out to Ebony Day. She actually danced at interpretations this past weekend. She's been in every single show that I've
Mm-hmm.
had, or some connection to it. But she had a birthday event, and she asked me to write some stuff, and I did. I actually got one of my cousins to recite one of them, and then
Yeah.
I had another person who was supposed to recite the other one. And I found this like real big personality. That I knew would have been able to really like finesse. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So I was proud. I was proud of the person that I got to do it, who
Yeah.
agreed
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it. And then like that week came up and they was like, oh man, I don't know if they had double booked or they got sick. I can't really remember what happened. But then I was talking to Ebony and I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do now that I don't got that. She like, what you mean? Why don't you just do it?
Why don't you do
Yeah, why don't you do it? And I'm like, why don't I do it?
it? Yeah.
But then at that point, I don't want to let my cousin down either. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand, the responsibility of
Mm-hmm.
having something going on. So I said, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. I actually went. It was called. It actually didn't have no name. I had wrote in it that it's not a piece because I was trying to make it clear that
Yeah.
peace was not part of the topic. And that just ended up taking it. That ended up being the name. And it was kind of social justice piece. You know what I'm saying? Talking about what we need to do as a community and kind of our life experiences as Black people. So I had on this black hoodie. I had gotten some little ribbon tags and hung all of these names from all of these different people that have been killed either by police brutality and stuff like
Word.
that on the hoodie. I had written my name on the back of it, so it was pretty dope. I did it, and that moment changed me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That was the official moment that the kid spoke. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's really what like really personified the kid speaks as a brain.
Yeah. And you said that was 2016.
That was 2016, December
Wow.
2016. Yeah.
Wow.
So 10 years almost, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
So, damn, that's beautiful, man. So I guess that moment you found your purpose.
Yeah. I would say I won't say that I found it, but I will say at that moment, I definitely drew a connection to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I've been writing. Uh, I had at that time already had some of the social group things going on that I do now, just differently. So that I've always people are my purpose. I know that. I know
Yeah.
that God made me for people, um, and I have not always liked that. I had a first lady that would always tell me about this great responsibility that I had, how I needed to, I was a leader, so I had to do this and that. And I rebelled against that for a long time
Mm.
because I, I ain't asked for that.
Yeah, I
You know what I'm
got you.
saying? That's not my job.
I got
So
you.
who signed me up? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I don't want to do that.
So I'm getting this feeling to ask you. So you must have always been like the leader or the go-to in your family. I'm assuming that was
Yeah,
always your
probably
role.
family, friends, whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny because me and my mom was just in the car the other day, and she was like, "Yeah, you be doing that in the class." I had a class all turned around. I remember one time that something was if there's a broken system, I'm not letting it slide. You
Yeah, I
know what I'm
got you.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my personality. Innately, that's just where I'm at. And so something was going on in the class, and I just kind of it wasn't a walkout. We just ain't never walk in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like a room that we all kind of just sat in, and I don't know if I talked them into it or we just all kind of agreed upon it, but we just ain't go to the class. It was like a sit out. You know what I'm saying? Just because of how things was going over there, and I think I've always had that ability. I'm definitely grateful now that with maturity and discernment and growth that, I accept, my responsibility and am more mindful of how I affect the people in the room. I think emotional intelligence is the key to success on all levels in all relationships. So I think that me right now, where I am today, I do not discount any of those experiences because they make me who I am, and I can look back and see where I may have fell short. You know what I'm saying? But I do know I done grew up.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
grew up for sure.
For
you
sure.
know what I'm saying?
And when you speak earlier, you spoke on how us as a black community, and do you think that's the reason why our community is kind of like falling behind? It's because we lack emotional intelligence.
I think that's probably one of the reasons. Of course, sadly, and I can say this from the stance of a black woman.
Yeah.
A lot of times we are raised to be everything to everyone, and not very much to ourselves. Yeah. We don't know. We don't figure that out, and I can't say that in other cultures and races and stuff they don't have those experiences. I just don't know.
You're right.
So just speaking from my lens, I feel like when you already have that as a barrier. So any person can have that as a barrier. But then when you lack, the Bible says that my people are destroyed because they lack knowledge, right? So if you don't know who you are, where you come from, all these things that make you even more disjointed than, a normal person's experience, I think that just adds the layers of disconnect and how how slow it is for you to learn how to show up in the room, because emotional intelligence is rooted in self-awareness. So in order for you to be able to understand how you affect the room, you have to understand who you are first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you don't know that part, that's the slow part. So I feel like a lot of times we have been historically behind, I think, in figuring out who we are, because we're trying to relate inside a system that was created to break us. That's what I'm saying? Right. I think we always have known like who we are. You know what I'm saying? I just think that there's been shadows and cast and things that have gotten in the way of us really being able to see ourselves for who we are. But I do feel like that's a huge part in why we lack the tools to be able to do some of the things that we've been called to do. But I think that's why conversations like this is important.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy, man? It's like so I grew up in Capitol Heights, right?
Okay.
And for like I lived in the same neighborhood for 12 years.
Okay.
So for 12 years, all I ever seen was that neighborhood.
Yeah.
All I ever seen was Central Avenue. I ain't see nothing else.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you don't see nothing else, you don't think there's nothing else out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then you basically get I think a lot of our people suffer from arrested development too. You know what I'm saying? They brain only is stuck at that trauma, whatever trauma was that their brain can't get past it. And I was gonna ask you this later on, but I gotta ask it now because we on this subject.
Okay.
The line on Brenda's Got a Baby, when Tupac said, "It's a shame Brenda doesn't even know. Just because you in the ghetto doesn't mean you can't grow."
Yeah.
So when I was young, I'm like, what's he talking about? What you mean you can't grow? You growing every day. Yeah. But he wasn't talking about physically.
No.
He was talking about mentally.
Yeah. Emotionally, spiritually.
Yeah.
All of it, the growth that is not tangible.
Right. Yeah. So when you're in these poverty-stricken neighborhoods, your brain don't grow. Like you said, spiritually, you know what I'm saying, mentally, all that. And it's a shame, man. And I mean, to be honest with you, man, like my brain didn't start evolving until I got sober. You know what I'm saying? So
shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, man. That's big.
That, TK. Yeah.
That's big. because drugs and alcohol, those are two things that really were designed to destroy us completely. You know what I'm saying? Completely, annihilate us. You know what I'm saying? Forget all of the other the guns, this, that, and the third. Those drugs, and not to say that those things are not a big deal. So let me be clear on what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, because what a man thinks in his heart, so is he, right? You got to guard your heart and your mind. There's so many scriptures that speak back to the mind.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's so important is because you will win or lose in the ways that you think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And drugs and alcohol are things that keep you from thinking in a sound way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Having a sound mind is crucial to success.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's crucial to growth. And so as soon as you start putting things in your body, and honestly, people, it could be down to food. Man, when I stopped eating meat, my mind got so clear.
Yeah.
Because of probably all the stuff that gets put into food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like being able to have your mind as clear as possible. People say it all the time, man, you are like a stickler for this, and you are so, regimented. But you gotta be like that. I've found ways to protect and guard my mind that's beyond just the words and things that I hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even really want to be a part of experiences that could be. I'm not the first lady. She used to say, you know what I'm saying, garbage in, garbage out, right? So unless you're a trash can, why would you accept trash? Why would you put trash into you? Unless you're, unless you're accepting that you're a trash can.
That's fact.
And so I had to do a lot of work in my relationships and stuff like that, just to really officially be walking in the guarding of my heart and my mind. But that is key. And those drugs and that alcohol, especially because we come from most of us come from very addictive environments. It don't take much.
Big fact.
You know what I'm saying? But I always say that all drugs ain't drugs. So you could be addicted to anything. You could be addicted to going to church. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you do outside of the moderation that is made to make and mold you can be a drug, can be an addiction, can be a barrier. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying, for making those steps and taking those strides and being an example to people your age, older than you, and younger than you, that it's possible. But that stuff is designed. That is one of the thieves that's here to steal, kill, and destroy you. And so I'm just glad that you're making choices that are changing your life and making you a change agent.
Thank you so much, TK, man. And it's crazy because back to what you were saying, it's like we don't ever do for ourselves. It's crazy because going to rehab was like the first thing I ever done for myself.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. It wasn't like a vacation. I just needed to get away, get my mind right, man.
Good for you.
And sometimes you have to sacrifice time with people you love to get your mind right. You got to.
Isolation. Sometimes you go into the desert and the wilderness for a reason, and those are necessary times. That's when you got to really face yourself and sit with your creator and figure that thing out so that you can come out stronger and get back into that whole, like I was talking about it. I don't think I mentioned it at the show. It was something else that I did, but I was talking about like the Saul to Paul. As a matter of fact, I did a piece in Colorado when I went to my uncle's service, and I knew when I said the line about Saul to Paul, that the way the room responded to it, I knew they understood what I meant. You know what I'm saying? But when people know you and they seen who you are, and they seen the damage you've done, you know what I'm saying? And then they see you change and become something else. That in itself is a testimony of what God can do when we choose it. You know what I'm saying? Because God not just making us be stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we have a will, and we have a will to choose. And when we choose and when we submit and surrender to those things, the changes that can happen is enough testimony to get other people to see. So I'm sure people seeing you, who they knew you to be however many years ago versus who you are now, I know they like, man, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I see you now, and that in itself is, you know what I'm saying, where the glory is.
Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't until I got sober. I don't want this to be all about me, y'all. This is about TK the Legend, but I just gotta say this, man, because I see why.
What is about you is about me.
Yeah, right. But I see why a lot of people open up to
I don't know, man.
Hey, but
Tell them.
so I never heard of its power in your testimony until I got sober.
Yeah.
And I never heard you overcome everything with the power of your testimony.
Yeah, that's right.
Until I got sober.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, me, getting on my podcast or social media and telling people my story, I'm not embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, if I can help somebody, if my story can help somebody just get sober or help somebody just do better, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's not about who you were, it's who you are today.
Yeah, and who you gonna become.
And who you
and shame is one of those thieves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things that keeps us from just on all kinds of levels. Like I feel like we don't talk enough about our health.
Yeah.
We don't talk enough about our finances. We don't talk enough about our relationships and stuff like that. And so everybody's out here just trying to figure it out. And I think that obviously the world that we live in today, where you got podcasts and you got all these different things where people are starting to connect and really tell their stories and stuff like that. But historically, we've been communities that were very hush hush.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about anything.
Yeah.
Like I remember, back in 2013, I had to get a hysterectomy because of some issues that I was having or whatever. But it wasn't until I was already signed up, ready to get on the table and all of that. That's when I found out that 4 or 5 people in my family had already experienced that.
Wow.
But just imagine what it may have been like or how life changing it could have been had I known that 10 years prior or whatever it is. But because we don't talk, we literally are just hoarding our experiences.
That's a big fact.
Which in theory is hoarding the trauma that comes along with it.
That's
you know what I'm saying? The
fact.
Salvation is in the release of the truth of the matter and how things are shared. You know what I'm saying? When information becomes wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's important to have conversations like this. So I'm glad you are willing to share, and I'm glad that you're not ashamed. There may have been a time that you were ashamed to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? But naked and not ashamed is real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real thing. And sometimes people be afraid to really just kind of bear it all, but there's freedom in that. So I'm glad you're living in that.
Well, let me say one more thing then.
Please, because the people that know me that's gonna watch because I'm here may not know your story, so it's important for you to share.
But this been on my heart ever since I left in interpretations last week, right? I met a lot of I'm pretty sure the people that I met was family or close friends to you, vendors and artists, right? And for a long time, and this is why, like you said, self-awareness is important, man. My self-esteem was bad for a long time, man. Before drinking and also in the midst of me drinking.
Yeah.
So when I pulled up to interpretations and I seen just that creative atmosphere, like everybody there was either an entrepreneur or a creator or both. You know what I'm saying? And I said, damn, yo, I feel right at home. And then everybody looked at me as the same. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because you are.
I know, but this is why self-esteem and working on yourself is important, right? Once I got sober, that was my main thing, to work on my self-esteem or whatever. But I said, damn, yo, I am somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And I always knew that, but it was just like on Saturday when I met all these other bosses. I said, yeah, this is cool, man. If you're a creative person, you have to always be around other creative people, man, so it can feed your creativity.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. As often as you can be.
As often man.
As you can be.
And that's important, man. If you're around 3 bosses, you're going to be the 4th.
I love that. But in theory, like I said, that's what interpretations is all about. Interpretations is about yes, it is about the audience and connecting the audience with art.
Yeah.
That is the avenue by where we do everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? By getting the audience out, and that's the point of having the show. But more importantly, it's about artists creating a network with other artists, and it's evolving. So it's not like once you in, you in. You know what I'm saying? Lifetime membership. You know what I'm saying? That's what interpretations is, lifetime. Obviously, unless you do something that would cause us to have to make another decision. You know what I'm saying? Because integrity is important, and you know what I'm saying, protecting the integrity of the brand and the mission is also important. But aside from that, as long as we always in alignment, we always in alignment. Yeah. Then now we are in alliance because we're in alignment. You know what I'm saying? And the point is to bring like-minded artists together to connect, to heal ourselves, and then we heal as a collective. You know what I'm saying? So individually we do our work, and then together, you know what I'm saying, we elevate ourselves. So that is the whole point of interpretation, even just for one night. This night is designed to be life-changing, spirit, soul, and body. Like everything that's happening in the space, everything you see, everything you hear, everything you smell, everything you experience, down to the, all right, so like the barbecue dude got a story of his own. You know what I'm saying? And if you sit and you talk to him, you would learn about that, and that would draw you closer to him, which makes you closer to his mission. It makes his food taste different.
That's big facts.
And you know what people have been through, and make what they produce different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so every person in the room has a story that's worth telling, and I want everybody to have the time. That's why it's not really just about the show. That's why there's a meet and greet before. You know what I'm saying? Which I pray that in future shows people really take more advantage of, because when you got 10 to 15 artists on a bill, that's all dope in their own right.
Word.
You want to connect with these people and talk to them. So that was one thing that I can say, and looking back at all the footage that I saw you talking to everybody.
Yeah.
You ain't staying in your one little corner. You was moving around. You was in the lobby. You was in the theater. You know what I'm saying? So that really like warmed my heart to know, especially knowing that was your first, because I didn't know that was your first.
That was my first one.
What I'm saying? So for that to be your first event, and you to be comfortable enough to move around and feel like you at home and you belong, because you did. I mean, everything is happening for a reason. You were right where you belong that day.
But you know what's crazy, TK? Like when I first came and set my joint up, I had my tripod in my hand. I'm like, damn, let me run out here and talk to some people. You know, I'm thinking about what people gonna think if I whip the mic out and ask some questions. Then I said, man, hold up. TK the Legend invited me, number one, and number two, everybody here is creative.
Yeah, they get it.
So people understand why I got the mic, why I got the tripod. Look, we trying to make some beautiful memories, man. Yeah. And I made some beautiful memories, man. The Heart Gallery, man. She got some flash shit.
Hey, man. 100%.
I love, and I love her, and I told her I was gonna get some in 3XL. I got holler at her, but I love her clothes, not because it's fashionable, but it's a meaning behind it.
100%. And and I've been watching it evolve over time, and it's just like, wow, like when you watch someone's journey like that, it makes it even more impactful to you, and then you know that sharing that with other people are gonna do the same thing. And that's why, like I said, for me, it's like lifetime membership. As long as a person available, I want them to be. There's certain elements that I pray are always a part of interpretations. Like sometimes the artist will change, can't be at an event. They got prior, engagements. I'm glad that I haven't gotten 30 people say yes at once, because then I got to figure out what to do. I don't know, maybe I got to do a 2-night show or something like that. If that happens, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to turn anybody away. But I'm just glad that it always works out in a way where it's never too much and it's never too little. It's always like right on time. But I'm glad to have some of those staple things happen, so that people know what they expect. And when they even come back, they get to see the differences in that brand as it's growing, even in that person's language and their countenance. Like, we are all growing together and watching each other.
That's what I'm saying.
And when you got all in the lobby, you was somebody else out there doing what you was doing, because TJ was doing that too.
Shout out TJ, push for greatness, man. And that's what it's about, man. Like, I mean, that's just what it's about, man. It's like, it's like when you in that creative realm or that realm of just trying to do better, your purpose realm. I think I just made that up.
Hey
Purpose
man,
realm.
the purpose realm.
Yeah, the purpose
First
realm.
time right here.
Yeah, right. And the people you meet next time you see them, you be like, man, I want to see what they doing next.
Yeah.
And it hype you up. Like,
Yeah.
they doing that? All right, well, look, I got to find something else to do.
Yeah.
And it's all love. You know what I'm saying? It's all love, man. Especially for me being a person where it's like growing up, I ain't fit in with nobody. And I think the reason why I ain't fit in is because I was hella creative.
Yeah.
And maybe because I didn't want to show my creativity. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I say, man, I'm happy I got sober at this age because I probably would have never knew what to do with my sobriety if I would have got sober in my 20s.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and I
saying?
mean everything in its own time.
That's big fact.
Everything in its own time. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
big
Like,
fact.
so we appreciate the journey.
Nah,
The way you change one thing, you might have to change five.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
we don't want to lose anything, so we gonna take what we got.
That's it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Hey, so this whole ordeal, I didn't get to ask her none of the questions I've written down, right? Because she's so dope. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
so let me ask you, let me get back to this jump.
Okay.
What did it cost you to become who you are today?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
It cost me everything actually. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, it cost a lot of like dying to self. You know what I'm saying? And like going back to the emotional intelligence, like it all starts there, like learning to love yourself and, care for yourself in a way, like a lot of learning, unlearning, relearning. You get in the habits of doing things a certain kind of way and you just do them because you do them like that. And that's your norm. So obviously that's right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's your norm until you realize that there's another way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then learn, they say change, you go through, the 7 steps of like grief and stuff like that whenever something is changing in your life. So everybody wants to reject change because nobody wants to go through the process. Everybody want to be the butterfly, but nobody, want to go into the darkness, you know what I'm saying, to do that. Everybody want to sprout out the ground, but nobody want to break through. That'd be the hard part, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, going through all of those many stages, you know what I'm saying, helped to shape me into the person that I am right now. But I had to be looking at myself. Like I've been, married now, but I was married before. And what I will say that the best thing I could have done with myself coming out of that was to stop looking at what the other person was doing and recognizing the things that I was doing. Self accountability. That is the part that changes everything. Because you can sit all day and talk about what they did, what they said, how. Most of why we be so upset about how things have turned out in our lives, it's not even because of the person that did them to us. It's really because of the things that we accepted. You know what I'm saying?
Big facts.
But we don't really know how to go to war with ourselves. So because of that, we turn that outward, and now we want to fight and hold grudges and this, that, and third. Well, really, that's an internal thing that we got to sit and wrestle with ourselves and say, but why would you even let somebody talk to you like that?
That's big fact.
Why were you even over there? You know what I'm saying?
Big facts.
Why were you with them people? Wow. You know what I'm saying? And when you start to ask yourself those kind of questions, then you start to realize how much of you ain't even you. You know what I'm saying? And then as you're doing that, and you discovering who you really are, and you start to share that, you know what I'm saying? Then something else emerges. So really, in order to become this, what I had to lose me and find me. You know what I'm saying? At the same time.
It's big fast. Hey, yo, you giving me goosebumps. I ain't gonna hold you, Slim, because I'm always the one that's preaching accountability will save your life.
Oh yeah, 100%. Self accountability is top of the list.
Yo, accountability, because everything falls underneath for accountability.
That's it. Your ability to account.
Yo, like.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
That is literally it.
That's really
I tell my kids that all the time. Like, it doesn't matter like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to stand in what you did, how you did it, why you did it, and the result. That is, you have to basically, like, everything should start at the end. How do you want this to turn out?
Word.
That's how you have to act up until it turns out. You can't make the decision. You know what I'm saying? I always tell them. I heard it as a kid. It's not how you start; it's how you finish. But a lot of times when people hear that, they think to themselves, "Well, I could be haphazard, and I don't have to have a plan as long as I keep going." And yeah, in some regard, that's true. But to take that a step further in understanding that it's not how you start; it's how you finish.
Yeah.
When you know that, then that means you should start at the end. You know what I'm saying? Because knowing how you plan to finish will help to dictate how you begin and how you go. It helps you make the choices that you don't have to go back and rewrite this and rewrite that. And everybody gonna make mistakes, right?
Yes, yes.
But at the same time, when you thinking through things before you do them, it allows you some time back. We lose a lot of time having to go back, undo, unsay. You know what I'm saying? Apologize. All of that when you could just really sometimes when I have sessions with couples and stuff like that, I be asking, what is your end result? Like the goal is to connect. Is what you about to say gonna cause you to? I understand what you feel. We got to be able to live past what we feel because that's temporary. You know what I'm saying? What is the ultimate goal? So if what you about to say or do is not gonna end in the end goal, which is connection, then you have to take a pause. It's your job to take a pause right there. Think through what your next step is so that you get to the end. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people won't do that, but that is being accountable at every step of the way. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to be accountable with every step. You know what I'm saying? And you actually life is a compilation of all of the choices you have made, not just the ones you liked. You know what I'm saying? So every single thing that you do and say, you have to account for that. There's an effect. You know what I'm saying? There's like a wave and a ripple for every single thing that you do and say. And you have to take account for that. And until people are ready and willing to do that, that is the biggest barrier that most people have.
That's the biggest. And then I said this before. A lot of people don't want to take accountability because they scared to look at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah, 100%.
They scared to get down to the trauma. They scared to get down to the damn. It was me the whole time. Yeah. They always want to play the victim.
Yeah. Man, and they may have been. Yeah, they may have been the victim. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you have to be willing to take your power back. But that's why conversations like this is so important. So that people know that they can take their power back. Some people don't even know.
For sure.
That some people don't even know how powerful they are.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even know how powerful they are. So, getting to the point of taking it back. You can't take back something you don't even know you lost, something you don't even know you had in the first place. But that go back to what you were saying about your sobriety. You know what I'm saying? While you was underneath that bottle, you ain't know all that.
I ain't know nothing.
You were all of that.
Yeah.
But you didn't know all of that.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
that's
awareness is key.
Awareness is key. And I tell people, haters see your potential more than you see it.
Yeah. That's why they did.
That's why they did.
That's why the steal, kill, and destroy means that the thing, whatever that spirit thing is on the other side, knows that there's something to rob. You know what I'm saying? They always say people ain't robbing no empty safes. You know what I'm saying? People ain't breaking in and know it where they don't think nothing exists.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what's happening. All of those things are coming. All of those attacks and all of that's coming because that thing understands the power, the energy. You know what I'm saying? The destiny, the purpose. And the goal is to make sure that you forget. The whole point is that you forget who you are. And you forget long enough that the other plan can take shape.
That's real. I remember, man, when I was in my drunken days, I used to be like, yo, why do all these people want to be around me for? You know what I mean? Yeah. Now I kind of understand, but now I know how to say no.
Yeah.
What they call it? What they call it? Boundaries.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Top 10.
That's a big
top accountability, boundaries, consistency, discipline.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. Boundaries, that's a big one, man. You gotta have those.
You got to. Yep. Have you ever felt judged in spaces where you thought you'd be safe?
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. Um,
A lot of times that happened in the crib.
oh, every time.
Yeah.
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 That and honestly, that's where a lot of your negative self-talk
Yeah.
starts to take its roots. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? In the places where you're supposed to be safe.
Yeah.
And then you internalize those things that you heard,
Mm-hmm.
and then you carry that baggage until you become more aware of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 100%. Um, in more ways than one. It was very hard for me. Like I don't have no real like coming out story or nothing like that. But what I will say is that it was what was hardest for me was to have my family look at me in a way other than who they always know me to be,
Mm-hmm.
just based off of one thing that I felt like nobody should have been looking at in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that was the hardest part. I'll never forget. I was um I was at a family member's house, and they were explaining to me like why either I wasn't invited to things or why my friends weren't invited to things. And so I always ask this question because I feel like, a lot of, particularly in our community, like people willing to accept everything other than
Mm-hmm.
a man and a woman not being together.
Mm-hmm.
Like they gonna accept the drugs, they
Yeah.
gonna accept the alcoholism, they gonna accept the
Pervert.
they gonna accept all of it. Everything is welcome here,
Yeah.
except for that. And I know that's like cultural conditioning and stuff like that. That even they got to break through on things like that. So I asked that. I said, man, so because I like to have clarity. I'm like, so okay, so I can't woo woo, but this can do. And they literally said to me, they said, our goal is to minimize the level of sin that we allow in our house.
Mm-hmm.
And because we want to minimize it, this is where we're going to draw our line.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to accept all of these other ones in because those are the ones that we can maybe understand or man, what I'm saying? Who knows? But that was the one that, nah, we can't rock in that. You know what I'm saying? And then I was having an event, and I'm telling them about the event and how, everybody talking about how good it went. And they was like, oh yeah, well, we ain't know what it was gonna be like, because we don't know what y'all do. And I'm like, who is y'all? You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I any different than the kid that you held when they was born, and the kid that was modeling, and the kid that was playing soccer, and the kid that's a writer, and the kid that went to church, and the kid that went to ministry school? And how am I any different than to me? I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like that, we shouldn't even be discussing it, right, to be honest. Right. But they was like, yeah, I mean, y'all might have your own Bible.
I mean, now I wasn't laughing, but
I mean, it's just like, right. You know what I'm saying? But that is the kind of things that I had to sit with, face, accept that other people were on that, and also reject because I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that I had to return to sender, because otherwise I could have been internalizing those things, and they made me different. You know what I'm saying, than I am. But I held my ground, and I can say, a lot of those relationships, I ain't gonna say that they are, I won't call them like thriving and flourishing, but what I will say is that, going back to what you said about boundaries, I think that I did like set a precedent for myself, that in order for people to interact with me, I learned that they have to interact with me. They have to find me where I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not my job to convince them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that is their thought process and that's their mind, let them have it. You know what I'm saying? Let them have it. Stand in my own truth of who I am. And I will say that our relationships have changed. Yeah. And I'm proud of myself for being myself, and not focus. That there were times where I was folding and contorting and trying to be what other people needed and wanted me to be. But I'm glad I am who I am. And changing every day.
Yo, I'm happy you are who you are.
I appreciate that.
No, seriously, man. And one thing I can say, man, if the black community, if we all supported each other like how the LGBTQ community support its own, we'd be way ahead, man.
Yeah, that means
Way far.
everybody got to learn to like stand together in the right things. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, I don't think any one person can agree with everything. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
for
believe in
sure.
that.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? Like, I don't think any one group is better than another one. I just think that we got to get our priorities in order,
We
and
gotta
I
get our
think that some of
priorities
the
in
things
order, man.
that we focus on as a community
Mm-hmm.
things that are distracting us from really getting to the root of the
Mm-hmm.
things that are the issues in our
Mm-hmm.
community. And
Mm-hmm.
I welcome the conversations,
Mm-hmm.
the rooms, the collaborations that help elevate us out of those
Mm-hmm.
out of that debris and out of those barriers.
That's big facts. That's big facts, man. You know, I don't know if this will help or not, but I apologize on the behalf of like I guess your family members
I
that
appreciate that,
yeah, nah,
man.
seriously, man,
Seriously.
because